Hi guys, welcome to DMT. Welcome to this video, which is about the Maeving RM1 EV motorbike, which I would say straight off the bat must be compared to maybe the equivalent of a 125cc combustion engine motorcycle, but this is the electric equivalent. And just on that, you might say, well, a 125 moped can go further, it's got a better fuel range and it can go faster. Well, this is a niche electric vehicle, fundamentally designed, I would say, to be used in urban environments in the city. This is a bike you could go to work on, take the battery out, plug it into the socket in the office, charge it up whilst you're working in the day, and then when you finish, take your battery out of the charge socket, slot it back into the bike, and then off you go home again. And that's fundamentally what it's been designed to do. And that was the main ethos behind Maeving. It's getting around that charge anxiety as to where you need to charge the bike. You can charge it to any socket anywhere in the home. Yeah, so what do you think to the bike? I think it looks really nice. I've seen this bike in some of the shows, and it is a bit of a head twitcher, isn't it? It does look really nice. I do like the styling of it. You've got modern v retro, and it's got a really nice theme to it. I think they've done a really good job in designing this bike. The power cables come from the battery unit down here, which looks like an exhaust kind of sort of setup, doesn't it? But it's not. It's got the cables in, and it just provides the cables from the battery to the alternator, I believe it is, and going down to the Bosch hub at the back of the bike. One thing you will have to take into consideration is the mile range. Now, Maeving state that the battery has a 40-mile range, and with two batteries an 80-mile range. Now, interesting, the WMTC, which is the World Motorcycle Test Cycle, tested the RM1 as part of the global technical regulations. Now, they concluded their findings to be 29 miles on one battery and 63 miles on two batteries. The motor is supplied by Bosch, and it's the only single moving part on the bike, so no oil changes you have to worry about, no spark plugs, no clutch, no chain, or no regular servicing costs. So that's going to be cheaper in the long run. The maximum power output of the RM1 is 4.4 kilowatts or 5.9 HP. It's the maximum torque of 160 Newton meters, giving it a maximum speed of 45 miles an hour. Now, the battery has a pull-out compartment for your spare second battery, whilst the main battery slots into the tank compartment to supply the charge. The battery weighs 12 kilograms and comes in a bespoke aluminium sealed case, an integrated carry handle and bamboo detailing. To charge, it slides into the drop-in connector. It has a 600 watt charger, fully charged in 4 hours and 10 minutes, and an 80% charge in 2 hours 55 minutes. The batteries also come with a 3-year warranty. The RM1 has a steel cradle frame. The front suspension is a Dyer 37 non-adjustable forks with 110mm of travel, and the rear suspension is a twin RSU with preload adjustment at 80mm of travel, and the trail of 103mm, and a rake angle of 26 degrees. Both wheels are 19 inches and they are spoked with aluminium rims and Dunlop K70 tyres. We have a single 240mm disc with a 3-piston floating caliper, and at the rear we have a 180mm single piston floating caliper. Now, the seat height is 785mm. I'm 5'8" and I can easily flat foot both my feet either side. The bike will cost you £5,995, so that's just with the one battery. And if you were to buy it with the second battery, so two batteries, that would be £6,990, so £6,990. If you wanted the tracker, so the bike does come with a tracking device, so it's got GPS on that, obviously. That's £195, that's an extra which you can pay for. Now, if you wanted a second docking station, so the scenario where you leave home, it's been on charge, you've seen the docking station on my shelf in my garage, if you didn't want to take them. It's not heavy, it's just like a cable and a docking port. If you wanted a second one, that would cost you £195. So if you wanted the second one in your office or your workplace, where you can just take your battery in rather than the docking station, then you can just slot it into the second docking station. Now I think what I would emphasize with the RM1, if I've not done so already, is that this bike is designed for urban commuting. There may be some criticism for its range and for the cost, but in answer to those two questions, the cost, it's a premium bike. You can see there's premium parts on this bike, and there's no shortcuts. As you look around the bike, everything's been meticulously crafted and created, and I think 65% of the components have been supplied by British engineering manufacturers. There's no cheapness or anything like that. They're all premium quality parts, and it is a really nice looking bike, isn't it? Quite a spacious compartment, so if you're not using the second battery, you've got a lot of space there to put your pack up when you go to work, and anything else that you want to put in there, actually, your scarf, your gloves, etc. The switchgear is dead easy to operate. You've got low, high beam. Also, you've got your horn button there, and then your indicators are dead easy and easily accessible on the left and right. At the back of the switchgear, you have a mode button or information button, as you can clearly see there. So each time you toggle that button, it will toggle through the mileage, the time, etc. on the gauge. On the right hand side of the handlebar, you have the neutral button and the drive button. So your three drive buttons, each time you press that will go into 1, 2 or 3, 1 being your top speed of 45 and 3 being your slow speed of 20. There's LCD lights and indicators. Now you can get graphite upgradable mudguards, which there are on this RM1. I want to show you a little bit of a manoeuvrability in this car park here, just to show how light and nimble the bike is. So I'll also show you the startup sequence. So side stand up, it is an ignition key, so we'll turn her on. It does its initial startup process, and you need to press the brake first, so left brake, press the drive button, and you see it flicked into 2. You flick the drive switch, again it will go into 2 and then 3, but we want to go into drive mode 1. That will give us 45 miles an hour. You can see I've got 38% charge now, so, and that's it, we're in drive mode. We can literally go. Quick look behind, turn the accelerator or the hand throttle, and off we go. Perfectly still. You can hear the birds tweeting in the trees. Let's just stop and put this camera on, and I can show you the manoeuvrability on this bike. Drive mode 1 and off we go. Yeah, so it's quite manoeuvrable, very manoeuvrable. I'm getting sharper and sharper on these turns, but yeah, very easy to manoeuvre. You can't go to a charge point like this and charge up, therefore they're a different category of charger. These are for your plug sockets in your house, but you don't have to worry about finding a charge point like this. I mean, look at this, one charge point, one car. How long is he going to be here? So you don't have to even bother with that. It eradicates, the RM1 eradicates all of that. All you need is a socket in a building, a house, an office, a cafe. You just go in with your cradle, your docking station rather, take your battery out, plug it in, have a cup of coffee, have a bagel, charge it up. Okay, you've got the time period of charging it up, but yeah, but it just totally eradicates charge stations, public charge stations like this. You don't have to worry about it. So one of the first things I would say, it's not particularly ideal to be going down a dual carriageway on the Maeving RM1, because I'm flat out here. I'm going 45 miles an hour. I'm on this first lane of the carriageways. I've got an articulated lorry behind me, Is he going to overtake me any second now? But it's a city commuter. It's not, you wouldn't go on the motorway on this bike because it only goes 45 mile an hour. And conversely on a dual carriageway, the speed limit's 70 mile an hour. So I now feel more comfortable. I'm on a B road, there's no traffic in front or behind me, so I feel happy that there's nothing up my backside trying to get past me, because the speed limits on a B road are 60 mile an hour. And now we're in a 30, I'm going to slip it into the drive mode 2, which limits it to 30 mile an hour, so I can just safely pottle along knowing that I'm going to not go through any speed cameras beyond the speed limit and get a ticket. So that's a good feature. Let's navigate through this, and the brake's quite good, having to stop quite sharp here for this van. Yeah, the brake's very good. This has got a bias of 60-40% I believe, where 60% is on the front and 40% is on the back. Now, I've never ridden a motorbike with mirrors on the handlebars, and I always thought they'd probably be not very good, but looking at these on the Maeving, okay, it's a bit of a bumpy road here. You are bouncing around a little bit, but it's got good rear view visibility, I would say. The brake oil containers, nice little square oil units there, and there's a view window where you can see the level of the fluid, so that's nice. That's just fine, isn't it? And it's perfect for the city, which this bike has been designed for. You do have to get into the mindset of remembering I was going for the clutch and the gears, and it's just a twist and go. You do notice a little bit of a delayed pickup when you're on a gradient, because we've obviously got the weight of the ride of the batteries, and obviously with the power source, it just takes a little bit more to get up the hills. So it looks like I've done 17 and a half miles so far. I'm down to 63%. So it just feels a lot more nimble going around the corners, feels a lot lighter. I mean, it's light and nimble anyway, but with just the one battery in, that's 12 kilograms lighter, and that is noticeable. Bloody hell, look at this truck on the wrong side of the road. Jesus, another one. He obviously an Eastern European truck driver there. He's just taken the how can you miss that? Well, I got his reg on the camera because I was recording. Now this one's doing it right. That's a foreign driver. That's it, go around that way, that's the correct way to do it. But if the road's smooth, it is a very nice smooth ride. It's just gentle, it just glides across the surface. But if you go over some big bumps, then it just kind of bump you around a little bit. Go around this bend here. Yeah, very nice. Let's go around this little chicane, see what your handles, go a little bit quick, see what your handles like. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. Yes, very nice. So just coming back to the seat, what I've done is I've picked the bike up from Maeving in Coventry this morning. I've driven to Leicester, about 20 miles. I've done a little bit of filming, I've had a bit of lunch, and then I'm driving back to Maeving. The seat, my bum is getting a little bit sore now, I would say. So I think it actually looks better than it feels. Another improvement maybe could do is just make the seat a little bit more comfortable, a bit more cushioning in there, shall we say. You don't have to find a charge station with the RM1. You just plug it into any old socket, and that's just fantastic.